So just moving from leg to leg and just feeling as though you're being compressed, squashed down, so that the mid-leg pushes back. And your spine just blends into the legs. And the belly will feel like it's lifting up a little bit. So remember, John used to have his hands like this a lot, and there's always a sense that his hands weren't on his down chair, they were under it, they were sort of helping it to lift upwards. And that lift was enabled by his own sinking down the back of the legs. And then just getting into the pulling with the legs. Yeah. So you can always tell when someone's pulling with their legs because you see the knee moving first. The knee goes out and then their body follows the knee. So the knees lead when you're pulling the legs. And just feel how the pull stretches the hip joints. So spirit is expressed in the knees. It's quite interesting. And they call it party and knees up. Yeah? So when the knees want to go up and fly, you're having a good time. The spirit is cheerful. And so the moving actually pulls you down towards the foot rather than away up, away from the foot. This is one of the reasons pulling with the legs is so useful. So I'm pulling. And just feel when you pull, it just naturally turns you towards the place you're pulling towards. So you're sensibly turning towards the place you're moving to. So here, ooh. Okay, so let's bring it to riding horse. Just feel the bottom of your sacrum and your tailbone, just splitting and reaching down the legs. So in John's Tai Chi, the energy very much, your body energy very much flows down the back of the legs, and then the energy from the ground comes up the front of the legs. Yeah. And so it's the different orbit than the Qigong one. The Qigong one, we tend to get this happening. Yeah, because John, he just wasn't interested in Qi. Because he was interested in winning the fight, and Qi doesn't help you in a fight because it's slow. So there's a sense that my back is just sort of melting down the back of my legs into my heels. And the toes are just doing this all the time and just encouraging this rising energy to come up the front of my legs, plus the front here, the space in front of it. And so when you get the posture right, you're not sitting on your legs. Yeah? You're actually passing through the legs. So actually sinking down is, it's just a matter of bending the knees really. So bending the knees will take your spine, your sacrum, to the actual ground. Yeah? Okay, now one of the things we have to guard against is just being mechanical, being too sort of regimented and military. So let's just feel the weight again as we pull. And so as you pull with the foot, you're pulling with the toes. So effectively, my toes are grabbing, I'm gripping, and that pull is turning me this way. It's swinging me around. Yeah? And so what I want to feel that, but then I also feel that once the pull has sort of finished, I settle into the leg, into the heel, and that will actually turn me this way. Yeah? So when I pull with the foot, it turns me towards the foot, so the foot is becoming a front foot, and then as I settle into the foot, I turn away from the foot in order to come out of it, and that turns it into a back foot. Yeah? So the act of going into the leg always has two stages, yeah? And both require a different waist turn. So as I go into the leg, I'm turning towards it, but then as I'm in the leg, getting ready to come out of it, I'm turning away from it. So this is what we just want to feel this. We want to feel each action as being two waist turns, not one. If it's just one waist turn, will become a little bit regimented. I pull and then I settle down, and then I pull. Yeah. So the turn this way through this foot has already happened from settling into the previous foot. I settle into the heel, and that starts the waist turn that the pulling completes here. Yeah. And then, when you go with a little bit of speed, there's this sense that you're pulling and pushing the feet all the time, but you're actually alternating. but just very quickly. I'm pulling, and then I'm beginning to squeeze out. I'm beginning to push. Because as you come into the foot, if you don't want to collapse down onto the ground, you have to start pushing instantly. You start coming into the heel, just to balance the weight. Yeah? I'm pulling, and then I'm pushing. So just feel this as a push. It's a push, but you haven't started moving yet. Here I'm pushing the leg is straightening to stop it from bending anymore. Yeah, so this is the fundamental action of the human being, to reach out and bring something into its mouth. You will, you see babies, you only need to watch a baby. That's the first thing it really learns how to do. Reaches out and just draws that nipple towards itself. Yeah. And so we like our moving, our perambulation, our ambulation to be just an expression of that most fundamental of human actions. It's not just human, it's any mammal, any animal really. Has to feed. Has to feed, it has to reproduce. Wow. Okay, so now let's just breathe back. And again, just feel that oppressive pressure driving you through the body and into your root. Now, this is, one of the ironies. It's only by subjecting yourself, subjecting the self to oppression and discipline is the only way to reach freedom, is the only way to reach a place where you have infinite energy, basically. And irony is just yin and yang, really. It seems to be one thing, but actually it's the other. So it's actually both just oscillating all the time. And that's just yin yang, that's Tai Chi. That's the yin yang symbol. So just feel the tentacle coming out of the sacrum, reaching down the legs to the feet. Yeah. And just feel the Dantian. Dantian is center. And feel the mind that you need for Dantian to be the natural center. So that they say the Dantian is the ruthless center. It's the center of like no feeling, no pity. Yeah. Like a tough, you couldn't give a damn. So you're detached. You see everything, but you don't allow that seeing to pull you out of yourself. Yeah? The seeing actually drives you more and more into the Dantian. Yeah, so this is what science would have originally been. Yeah? It would have been like a noble endeavor. And then just be with your breathing. So as you breathe in, just imagine you're sucking the air down to the down chin. And then as you breathe out, it comes out. Yeah. And so it's like a natural reverse breathing. So if I want the air to come down here rather than just settle in my lungs, I have to do something. I have to clench a little bit with the muscles there to pull, to suck the energy down, the breath down here. And as I clench here, just feel how the lower back flattens out a little bit. So your posture improves when you breathe into the down chin. And then just start marking the breath with the hands. So tightening the belly a little bit to pull the air down into the belly. And just allow that clench in the belly as you breathe in, not just to bring the air and the energy down into the down chin, but to suck energy up from the ground into the down chin. And then just reverse the hands. So now as you breathe in, you bring the hands in. So everything is being sucked towards the down chin. Your hands, the air, the energy from the ground, it's all being sucked into this space. And then you just relax it and it will flow back out like a spring. So it pulls in. And then just feel that ruthless mind here as you really tighten here. And just make sure everything is sort of locked into the down chin. And then this is like a benevolent, compassionate mind that just relaxes and everything goes out. And then here you're really tough and a bit mean. And if you want to intensify it, just breathe through the little hole in the mouth. So that's the normal way of intensifying something, just make it more difficult. Okay, let's bring it back. Again, just make sure the sacrum is forwards. And just feel the feet and the legs. We normally don't have a lot of feeling there. So the legs are normally very much like a vehicle. It's sort of a bit like your car, you know, or your bicycle, you know. You're not that intimate with it, yeah. It just serves a purpose. It gets you from A to B. It's the same with the legs. We want to feel the legs much more like hands. So the feet are more like these big hands that can really feel and manipulate. So it's just a matter of me just extending this tentacle of energy, and then I can really feel this foot really grabbing the ground. My toes are just digging in. My instep is really arching off the ground. My outside edge is cutting down, and my heel is spreading out because there's so much weight on it. And now let's just turn. So just feel the Danchen sacrum area. Feel that as the middle of a wheel, and then just turn the wheel. So the sacrum isn't really moving, it's just twisting, turning. And just be aware of the two spaces, the space that you can see in front of you, and the space you can only feel behind you. Just feel how different they are. One is the domain of your ego, and one is the domain of your energy. And just feel the hand that's reaching back into that darkness. Feel that moment the hand becomes invisible. How does it feel different? Can you feel the darkness? It's like in Plato's Parable of the Cave. You know, those in bondage are facing the wall, their back is to reality, and what they're seeing is just shadows. Yeah. So this is not real. The way we make it, it's not real. So to somehow look at the world without allowing it to cohere into a collection of objects. And just really developing the eyes in the back of the head, the gaze into this dark energy behind you. So when we repeat an exercise, we're just trying to relax into it. Just feel the legs relaxing. So when you turn to the side, you've actually gone down the valley, you've sunk and relaxed into this position. It's like you can't relax properly into double weightedness. So when I'm standing like this, I'm very much on top of the hill, looking out and down. Yeah? And it's only really when I turn and I now have a front foot and a back foot that I can just properly relax and just sink into my posture. So this is what we want to feel when we turn. It's not turning into a screwed, locked up position. It's turning into relaxation. Yeah? And then you have to come back over the hill to get down the other side. Otherwise, the end of each posture in Tai Chi becomes a real struggle. You want it to be a really relaxed place to be. You should be able to settle into a posture and hold it for a few minutes without it becoming too much of a physical strain. So I come up and then I drop down. I come up and then I drop down. And then if you can be bothered, just observe the twisting of the foot. So this foot twists, push me that way. This foot twists. And then just really feel the release in the back hip here. If this is tight, then this will be pulling this foot up. So then it won't be able to pull the next bit. Just make sure the down chair is in the middle of the circle. Okay. As soon as we start concentrating, it will tend to pull back and your mind will be in the space in front of you, the space you're used to inhabiting when you think and concentrate. Okay. Like that. Okay, now feel the down chair in the center again. So we've established this wheel, the wheel on the horizontal plane with the down chair as the center. Now we just want to establish the vertical wheel. So like the circle that goes around Leonardo's man. Yeah. So it just touches the soles of the feet and it touches the head of the sole. And the down chair is the middle, almost pretty much. So what we want to do now is just do this exercise from the warm-ups, but with the down chair as the center of the circle. So gradually just increasing the circle until in your mind at least you're tracing this circle that circumscribes you. Yeah. And just be really careful when you come forward so that you don't stick the bum out too much. So don't fold at the hips, just let the whole thing sort of concertina, sort of crumple up a little bit. And then just change direction. So make sure when you come up, the elastic doesn't snap. Something gets more intense as you rise up, because the elastic from the ground is really having to stretch here. And then just reduce the circles. And just back to the down chin. And now just feel the circle that's going around you. You want the sense that that circle is almost trying to get a bit smaller all the time, so you're being sort of squeezed into a smaller space. So that stimulates the spirit. When you get oppressed, yeah, there's something naturally rises up to fight it. Yeah? So if I can, with my mind, just imagine this pressure, then it's something in you springs back. Yeah? Okay, now let's squat down. So here, we're getting the down chin a lot closer to the ground, and we're in a much smaller circle, so you can really feel the pressure. And so in my classes, you'll get your partner, your person you're working with, just to push into you, and they'll be behind you, just pushing you down into the leg, so you feel real pressure. And then you can imagine it that much easier. It's like being cruel to be kind. Yeah? Feel the pressure that your down chin is under by this squat, crouched posture. Feel the feet really expanding on the ground. And just feel your back, your upper back, yeah, your shoulder blades. You can really feel it. And just feel how the head has to almost like crouch down to really bring that energy out from your back. This is one of the reasons John's posture was so poor in meditation terms, yeah, because he was just working with that back energy all the time. And you almost need to have no neck to actually allow the shoulder blades to really blossom into these wings that he was interested in. And just move from leg to leg, just keep it moving. And so when any living system, when it relaxes, it will move because of this sort of internal movement. So nothing is ever really still. And then just bring the weight over the hands. Yeah. So just want to lower the legs. You just want to feel how the arms feel when they're being used like legs. They're just supporting you. And rock back into the feet and back into. So now my elbows are forcing my knees apart in order to stretch my hips, my groin. And then one more, just coming onto the hands, spread the hands and use the arms to pull yourself forwards rather than pushing with the legs. And as the arms begin to receive my weight, they have to strengthen and become like pillars to hold me up. You should be able to pick the feet off the ground. It shouldn't be a big deal. And just test your balance. Yeah. And then back again, and now using the arms to push and feel the feet filling up now. Feel the legs coming back into support mode and the arms coming back into empty active mode. And then just opening the legs a bit. So just thread the arms through the legs and just place them on the feet. So just trying to really open the hips, just feel hips. Spine is pretty much horizontal now. And just breathe into it. And then up. Ooh. Feel the rush of blood to the head. And just feel it, yeah? So I say that all the time. There comes a point with internal work where it's all just a matter of feeling it, yeah? It's like, how does the body feel? as a result of what you've just done. Not how do you feel, but how does the body feel? Yeah? So we have to be able to dissociate self from body, mind, and spirit. Self is the intruder, the unnecessary intruder that we would like to vanquish. Yeah? So you probably feel tired and a little bit sort of spaced out from being crouched down on the ground, but how does your body feel? It should feel more off the ground, like less self, less you there. Now just come back to the down chin. Yeah. Get the spine melting down the backs of the legs. And just feel the down chin, feel this lift. It's a real physical center. They say it should feel like a stone. They're like there's something really physical and hard and cold here. And really dense. Yeah. And then just use your eyes, so just look. We look not in order to see, but in order to drive ourselves into the down chin. This is what we would like, but any action, if you do something right, it will actually bring you into your down chin even more strongly. It won't bring you out of it. This is why a lot of people get compassion wrong, because when they feel for someone, they pity them, and then they all get weak and sort of gooey and sobbing. Yeah? And so the act of reaching out to the other to help them should actually drive the other end of your reach into your down chin and into your root. Yeah? So what you're meeting them with is not weakness and pity, but strength. Yeah? A challenging strength. Yeah? So now just using the eyes, you just look at an object there. So I'm going to look at something on the wall. And as you look at it, it's almost like the vision bounces back and goes down into the belly. So everything that you look at sends you back to the belly. The other end of the line, one end of the line is reaching out to touch that object. The other end of the line is reaching down into my down chin, from where it can then travel down through my legs to my feet, because I have good posture. So every time we look, you can, it's your choice whether the look takes you out of your body or the look drives you in. Yeah. And just feel that ruthless, cold mind, that detached mind that can look at something and not care what it is, not care for it. Yeah? Care is anxiety. We're not careless, we're mindful, but we don't want that anxiety associated with being too careful. Yeah? Okay, now let's just work just with the wall a little bit. So just, if you have a wall close to you, it could be anything that's relatively solid and stable. And I just place my hand on it and just push into the wall, but I'm pushing into the wall, not because I want to push the wall over, obviously, but because I want the other end of the arm to push down into my belly and then into my leg. So I should be able to lift one leg off the ground. So you're just feeling the line that flows through the body, what I call the line of strength, from the solid ground to the solid wall. So you're pushing the wall in order to put pressure on your feet. And just feel the position of the sacrum. We want to have it behind all the time, because it gives us a sense of watching what we're doing, but you really want the sacrum to be on the line. It's not pulling back off the line. It's really very much on the line of strength that's passing from the heel of this palm to the heel of this foot. And just relax into it. Just feel how if you can just wriggle a little bit, you get the line becomes a little bit sort of lively. So energies flowing backwards and forwards along this line, from the wall to the ground, from the ground to the wall. Just like a buttress. And just use your body weight. It's like I'm trying to just throw my body weight into this hand, so my hand is having to support it. So my body weight is being supported partly by this leg and partly by this arm. And then just feel the side. So make sure the sacrum is forwards. So you're not looking down. And then just both hands on the wall. And just lean into it. And allow the sacrum to come forwards and down so that your spine is relatively vertical. And then you can just work the legs. So really sink into the foot. So the heels are off the ground. So you want to feel the strong, but soft, muscly tone that is your response to wrestling with the ground and the wall. And if it just gets too much for the arms, then just bring your forearms onto the wall, so your elbows are now. And then just push it away. And now let's just bring it back. And again, just feel the body. Just feel it. Forget how the mind is thinking about it. Just feel the body. The body should feel very enlivened. It's like there's an energy that's woken up, which is this energy, this wrestling sort of energy. So that's the sort of relationship we would like to have with the ground. So the earth is not just something that we settle upon, it's something that we wrestle with. Yeah? So you're really sort of working your connection with it to invigorate the body, to bring up the spirit. Now let's just get this feeling of the legs going out. Yeah? So that, if anything, will tend to stick the thumb out, will tend to make you rock forwards. So this has to be balanced by this. Yeah? So once you get the sacrum in position, you then almost, you then do something that's going to corrupt it, that's going to pull it out of position, but without allowing it to come out. But there's like an elastic pull. It's not locked in position. This is what we really have to guard against. Yeah? I haven't frozen into good posture. Yeah? That should be a complete contradiction in terms. Yeah? So good posture is not like a positional thing. It's much more to do with the relationship that you have with things. Is that relationship really sort of elastic and give and take, yeah? Or are you just either the oppressed or the oppressor? And then just come back to the breathing. So we'd like the breathing to be just as muscular as this sort of exercise with the wall was. It's just as engaging. It's not this light thing that's going on in the background. You're really having to use the muscles to make the breath come in and out. That quote of Blake that I sent. I can't remember how it goes now, but the idea was that reason is like this giant serpent that has you in its coils, and it's just crushing all the life out of it. So the minute particulars, so all these little shifts and gyrations of energy are just flattened out by reason. Reason always tries to replace reality with a model of reality, a better behaved model. Yeah? And so it just basically ignores most of what's actually there. So we just want to get back to the life, to that wriggly spirit energy that's just always playing and disrupting. It's naughty. And just feel that in your tail. The tail should feel, if you think of yourself having a big tail and it's like it's sweeping around, if it's a little tail, it's like a little maggot. It's just wriggling all the time, trying to burrow through your legs and into the ground. And then just sink, and just feel sinking as a release. Something in you just lets go, and you can just go down. Yeah? It's no big deal. And then if you turn, you can go down even more. Yeah? Coming back up the hill, and then just relaxing down the hill. So you relax into the turn. It's not something that you have to use force. It's gravity. Gravity will just take you down the hill if you just take your foot off the brakes. Yeah. And then here I have to come up the hill, so this requires a bit of effort from me. And then here I just release and I slide down the other side. And just back, and now let's just bring it up to attention. With all the same principles, so the sacrum forwards, just feel a bit odd when you get the sacrum in the right position. It forces the legs just to bend a little bit. So again, with the same sense that the down chin has a lift to it. And the same sense that your back is sort of melting down through the backs of the legs and into the ground. And then just relax, relax, relax. So just really trying to relax the legs until you're on that, almost the point of failure, almost the point of collapse. Just how relaxed can you allow them? So that point of failure, that point of collapse, that's the place where there's energy. The further you get from that point, the more you just have force instead. But of course, the further you get from that point, the more confidence you have there. So this is the bummer, really. We have to be confident enough to be really cheerful as we're failing. Yeah. And just feel how it doesn't like double weightedness. So the advantage of having the feet so close together is that you can be in one foot and then be in the other foot with only like a centimetre movement. So you can be shifting from foot to foot all the time. So it's almost like the 2 feet are breathing. And of course, as you shift the weight, you also turn. So the turning is going on all the time as well. So you're just ready to just start moving. Everything's already in play. And then it can just so easily just settle into the form. So there's a feeling that you're relaxing into the form. You're just letting something go and then the animal is released.